A young girl living on the quiet edge of town does everything she can to keep her life steady and quiet until a few unexpected visitors begin pushing into her world. One grows too curious, another too demanding, and only one person her age truly understands her. But when night falls, a final visitor forces her to make a choice that will change everything. Rynn is a 13-year-old girl living alone in a quiet cottage by the sea. On her birthday, she bakes herself a small cake and lights a few candles. There's no one else around to celebrate, but she doesn't seem to mind. A man named Frank Hallett arrives unexpectedly. Before letting him in, Rynn lights a clove cigarette from her birthday candle, just to let the smoke fill the air. The moment Frank steps through the door, the atmosphere changes. He ignores her unease and walks across her freshly polished floor, leaving muddy footprints behind. His tone is too familiar, his questions too personal. Rynn tries to stay polite, but it's clear she doesn't want him there. It's Halloween night. He says his children are out trick-or-treating and that he just stopped by early. Rynn explains that she and her father recently moved from England, where Halloween isn't really celebrated, so she has no candy to offer. Instead, she cuts a piece of her birthday cake for him. Frank comments on the smell of smoke and asks to see her father. Rynn tells him her father is working in his study, but Frank stays, watching, probing, asking questions that make her uncomfortable. Something about his curiosity feels wrong. Then the sound of children's laughter from outside breaks the tension. Frank quickly excuses himself and leaves. The next morning, on her way to the bank, a familiar car pulls up beside her. It's Frank. He offers her a ride, but Rynn refuses. At the bank, Rynn retrieves a signed check from a safe deposit box that she and her father share, then approaches the cashier to make a withdrawal. The bank officials exchange glances, surprised by how composed and confident this young girl seems, handling her father's affairs like an adult. Back at the seaside cottage, a green Bentley rolls up the driveway. Mrs. Hallett, Frank's mother and Rynn's landlady, steps out. Without knocking, she marches inside and starts moving things around as though the house belongs to her. She demands to know where Rynn's father is. Rynn answers politely but firmly that her father is away in New York. Mrs. Hallett doesn't seem to believe her. She hints that she's heard about her son's visit the night before and seems worried it might have caused trouble. With a condescending smile, she advises Rynn to be more careful next time. Rynn stands her ground. She calmly tells Mrs. Hallett that her son's behavior speaks for itself and that she doesn't need any advice on how to handle it. The words make Mrs. Hallett uncomfortable. Trying to change the subject, Mrs. Hallett says she's come to collect a box of empty jars stored in the basement. Rynn immediately refuses. She says her father doesn't allow anyone down there and suggests Mrs. Hallett come back another time. Annoyed, Mrs. Hallett questions why Rynn never attends school with the other children in town. When Rynn gives no answer, the older woman makes a vague threat about her connections with the school board before storming out. The house falls silent again. Rynn whispers softly to herself, reminding herself that this house is hers, her safe world, and reaches for her pet hamster, holding it close for comfort. After her tense encounter with Mrs. Hallett, Rynn takes a long bus ride into town. At the local library, she quietly searches through public records and discovers that Mrs. Hallett had been bluffing. Her supposed connections to the school board don't exist. Leaving the library, Rynn spots Frank again. He steps out of a building, insisting on giving her a ride home. Before she can respond, a police car pulls up beside her, and Officer Migloriti calls out to her. His sudden presence makes Frank retreat immediately. The officer had noticed the exchange and sensed that something wasn't right. He offers Rynn a ride instead, and she accepts. During the drive, they talk. Migloriti is a little surprised by how sharp and self-possessed this young girl is. When she pronounces his Italian name perfectly, he laughs, impressed that she's the only one in town who gets it right. When they arrive at her cottage, Miglioriti's concern deepens. He politely asks to see her father. Rynn lets him in but repeats the same story, that her father is working and can't be disturbed. The officer begins to realize just how unusual Rynn is for her age. She speaks multiple languages, carries herself with quiet confidence, and has a kind of awareness that most adults would envy. At some point in their conversation, Rynn mentions, half-jokingly, a rude word she once overheard from Frank. Miglioriti's expression changes. He's heard about Frank, and it's clear he understands that the neighbor must have made Rynn uncomfortable. Before leaving, the officer offers a raffle ticket for a community turkey draw, saying it's for her father. While Rynn fetches money to pay for it, he glances toward the closed study door, curious to finally meet the man. But Rynn returns quickly, hands him the cash, and guides him politely back toward the front door. When he's gone, Rynn walks into the study, and we finally see the room is empty. Her father isn't there at all. Not long after, Mrs. Hallett returns to collect the jelly jars. The moment she steps inside, she warns Rynn that she's spoken with the school board about her not attending classes, trying once again to frighten her, but Rynn doesn't flinch. She calmly offers her tea instead. When intimidation doesn't work, Mrs. Hallett demands to see Rynn's father. Rynn repeats that he's upstairs, busy working on his poetry. Mrs. Hallett says she'll wait, and adds that if she doesn't see him soon, she might consider ending their lease. Then she takes a step toward the study door, insisting she'll speak to him herself. This time, Rynn's patience runs out. She tells Mrs. Hallett, firmly and without fear, that she knows exactly why the woman is really here. Not to see her father, but to protect her son's reputation after his unwanted visit on Halloween night. Mrs. Hallett lashes out and threatens to have her removed from the house. She turns to leave, then suddenly remembers the jelly jars. When she realizes the lids are missing, she decides to fetch them from the cellar herself. The entrance is a small trapdoor in the floor. Rynn begs her not to go down there, but Mrs. Hallett ignores the warning and heads down the steps anyway. A second later, we hear her scream from below. The trapdoor slips from its support and falls. Rynn looks down into the darkness and sees Mrs. Hallett lying motionless on the cellar steps. The woman is dead. The fall was instant and entirely accidental. Panicked after what happened, Rynn begins trying to erase any trace of Mrs. Hallett's visit. She hides the woman's umbrella, takes her car keys, and goes outside to move the green Bentley before anyone notices it. But the engine won't start. The repeated sound of the ignition draws the attention of a boy riding past on a bicycle. His name is Mario. He's about Rynn's age, wearing a magician's outfit. He's on his way to perform at a birthday party. Gentle and curious, he walks with a cane from an illness he had as a child. Mario recognizes the car instantly. There aren't many like it in town, and he asks why it's parked outside her house. Rynn begs him for help, saying she needs the car moved somewhere safe. Mario promises to return later that evening. True to his word, he comes back after dark, and after quietly driving the Bentley away from the house, Rynn cooks him dinner to thank him. Over the meal, Mario admits he doesn't understand everything that's going on, but he can tell Rynn is in trouble. He says he returned the car to Mrs. Hallett's office, made sure not to leave any trace of their involvement, and brought back the keys so Rynn can hide them where no one would think to look. Rynn explains that she's been on her own since her father traveled to New York. Concerned, Mario offers simple advice. Keep the lights on at night, lock the doors, and trust no one who makes her uncomfortable. Their friendship begins to blossom. They celebrate with one of Mario's magic tricks, and Rynn introduces him to her pet hamster, the only companion she's had for months. While playing hide and seek, Mario accidentally discovers Mrs. Hallett's umbrella. The moment Rynn sees it, her cheerful expression vanishes. She snatches it from him, but before either can explain, there's a knock at the door. It's Officer Migloriti, Mario's uncle, stopping by to check on Rynn and finally meet her father. Mario covers for her, saying her father had been with them earlier but has gone to bed. The officer explains that Frank reported his mother missing, her car has already been found at her office, and he said she was supposed to visit Rynn about some glass jars. Rynn shows him the jars and calmly says she'd been waiting, but Mrs. Hallett never arrived. Satisfied, the officer leaves. Rynn thanks Mario for protecting her secret, but the relief doesn't last. They suddenly hear footsteps outside and think the officer has returned, but it turns out to be Frank, and he forces his way in, pretending he's there to look for his mother. He prowls around the house, studying every corner as if searching for proof of something. He notices the same pack of clove cigarettes on the fireplace and makes a remark about how little has changed since his last visit. Frank orders Mario to light one for him, asserting control. Then he notices Rynn's hamster and cruelly uses it to taunt her, implying harm if she doesn't answer his questions. Rynn begs him to stop, but the hamster doesn't make it. Mario steps in to help, but Frank mocks his limp, trying to humiliate him, until Mario suddenly lifts his cane, revealing a hidden blade within. The change in his expression is enough to make Frank back away. Realizing he's lost control, Frank runs away. But Rynn and Mario know it isn't over. Rynn finally decides to share her secrets with Mario. She leads him down to the cellar. There, Mario discovers the bodies of Mrs. Hallett and Rynn's mother. Rynn explains that years ago, while they were living in London, her father fell gravely ill. Before he passed, he was terrified that Rynn's estranged mother, who had abandoned them when Rynn was only 3, might return to claim her. To protect Rynn's independence, the two of them left quietly for America, determined to disappear from the system completely. Her father arranged everything before he died. The rent was paid years in advance, money stored safely in the bank, and all of Rynn's documents in order. The only unpredictable factor was her mother. Before leaving, Rynn's father gave her a vial of white powder, warning her to use it only if her mother ever came back with ill intentions. When that day finally came, Rynn followed his instruction. Her mother collapsed soon after drinking the tea, and Rynn hid her body in the basement, determined never to be taken away. Mario realizes the depth of Rynn's isolation and the desperate logic behind her actions. He doesn't condemn her. Instead, he promises to help her stay safe. Together, they dispose of Mrs. Hallett's car keys by the shore. As rain begins to fall, the two quietly dig by the garden, laying the past to rest beneath the flowers. Exhausted but bonded by what they've endured, Rynn tries to warm Mario up, but he's already starting to shiver. He promises to return once he's recovered and reluctantly heads home, leaving Rynn alone once more. That night, Officer Migloriti returns once again. He's polite, but it's clear he no longer believes Rynn's stories about her father. Rynn struggles to maintain her calm and tells him her father has been unwell, too ashamed to let anyone see him as his condition worsen. Migloriti listens, but remains unconvinced. Just when Rynn fears he'll insist on seeing her father, a man's voice calls from upstairs. To Miglioriti's surprise, Rynn's father appears, looking pale and weak. The officer apologizes for doubting her and soon leaves, assured that Rynn isn't alone. But once the door closes, the truth is revealed. It wasn't her father at all. It was Mario, wearing a clever disguise to protect her secret. Days pass, and Mario falls seriously ill. He's soon hospitalized with pneumonia. When Migloriti visits Rynn, he gently tells her that Mario had been speaking about her, even in his sleep. The officer drives her to see him, but Mario is too weak to wake. Standing by his bedside, Rynn realizes how deeply she has come to rely on him. When she returns home, the house feels emptier than ever. She tries to rest, unaware that danger is already inside. The sound of the cellar door slamming wakes her. Rynn freezes as Frank steps out, dressed in Mario's clothes. Frank has discovered evidence pointing to what happened in the cellar. And though he doesn't seem to care that his mother is gone, he makes it clear he intends to use this knowledge to control Rynn. Rynn understands immediately what he means. Keeping her composure, she offers to make him tea, masking her fear with calm. She remembers the vial her father left her, the one meant for emergencies. She carefully prepares 2 cups, setting them on the table. Frank becomes suspicious and switches the cups before she can drink. But Rynn had anticipated this. She had already reversed the trick in her mind. Frank drinks first and comments on the odd almond taste of the tea. Then he begins to cough and slowly realizes what's happening. Rynn watches quietly, her expression unreadable, as the house falls silent once more. Stories like this remind us that some people fight battles no one else can see. Rynn isn't a hero or a villain, just a kid trying to survive in a world that kept pushing into her life. And sometimes the smallest choices we make under pressure end up defining everything that comes next. Thank you for watching.